Well, new developments now on our top story today. Less than an hour ago, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton vowing to take action against those responsible for stealing thousands of classified documents and then leaking them.
To the American people and to our friends and partners, I want you to know that we are taking aggressive steps to hold responsible those who stole this information. I have directed that specific actions be taken at the State Department, in addition to new security safeguards at the Department of Defense and elsewhere to protect State Department information so that this kind of breach cannot and does not ever happen again.
KT McFarland is a Fox News national security analyst, and Michael Farkas is a former active duty JAG officer, Judge Advocate General, who served in Gitmo. All right, panel, so I want to talk about what the impact of these leaks is and what's going to happen to the leakers, what can happen to leakers. Let me start with you, KT, because your overall impression of the damage done by this leak.
Look, what these documents revealed, it's a problem. Maybe it's embarrassing and all the rest. The problem
but it's not huge, you say?
It's not huge.
Okay.
But the huge problem is going to be nobody's going to trust us going forward. Foreign leaders, are they going to sit down and tell us what they're really thinking? Or are they going to say, no way I'm going to trust America. It's going to be on the front page of the New York Times. But more importantly, foreign intelligence agencies will not cooperate with us. They're going to worry that their sources and methods will be blown if they talk to us because we can't keep a secret.
How do we get past that? Because, you know, according to the reports, this guy Bradley Manning, who was behind, you know, at least part of these leaks,
right.
Maybe there were others. According to the reports, there was a chat log of a conversation he had with a fellow hacker where he said, look, it was pretty easy. I'd come in with a music CD labeled like Lady Gaga. I'd erase the music. I'd write a compressed split file. No one suspected a thing. I would listen and lip sync to Lady Gaga's telephone while exfiltrating possibly the largest data spillage in American history. Now, this is according to online reports that he allegedly was bragging about how easy it was.
And a couple million people had access to that database. I mean, that's just stunning.
How do you stop that, KT?
You've got to do it really aggressively and understand that this is not just some dissatisfied guy who's a hacker. Hackers are terrorists. This is cyber warfare. Understand it. First of all, go figure out how to fix all the leaks. When I was in government, you'd know exactly who had access to which documents. Not a million people. This guy should be tried. Manning should be tried for treason. Execute him if he's found guilty. Julian Assange, try him for espionage. Shut down WikiLeaks. But get a presidential order to shut that down today. If you can't get a presidential order or the president won't sign it, go to Iceland, which hosts WikiLeaks. Tell them, shut it down or else our relations are going to be damaged. Go to every other country that says we're going to host it, and you say our relations are going to be damaged. You shut this stuff down because this not only threatens American national security, it threatens global order because no country will cooperate.
Those are strong words.
This is warfare.
But okay, so that's the military perspective. Legally, can we do any of that?
Really, the question of whether we can do it should be secondary to whether we should do it and whether we should do it now. I believe ultimately we can do it, but even if there are gray areas, even if there are questions as to what can be done, what can be prosecuted, what ultimately can succeed in court, Senator Lindsey Graham said it best. If we can prosecute them, let's try.
Well, what about, okay, so let's start with treason against PFC Bradley Manning. Why isn't he facing treason charges?
Treason is a notoriously difficult charge to bring. It's a very vague charge. It seems that he's being charged with a pretty serious offense as it is. And I don't really want to speculate why he isn't, although many treason prosecutions in the past haven't gone very far.
Part of it may be that there are more documents to come. We've seen the dump from the Defense Department and military agencies. This is a dump from the State Department. What's next? Is there something from the intelligence community? We know that there's more stuff to come. Presumably, if they try him immediately for treason and say death penalty, he's not going to cooperate.
All right, but what
Maybe
about
what we should do is
so
find
what about Julian Assange? He's not cooperating with anybody. Well, that doesn't even appear to be on the table.
Although, you know,
so espionage, but espionage is defined loosely, okay, because it's a long statute. Somebody who transmits an unauthorized document relating to the national defense with reason to believe it could be used to the injury of the United States or to the advantage of any foreign nation. Hello? Don't we have Assange on that?
He needs to be indicted, and he needs to be prosecuted. There are many arguments as to why ultimately that prosecution may not succeed, but the message needs to be sent now and immediately. He needs to be indicted.
By the way, this is just crossing our urgent queue that WikiLeaks has yet to release 15,000 secret Afghanistan documents. There could be more. They said that they've got a ton, so I don't know. But now they're specifically talking about 15,000 secret Afghanistan documents, in addition to the Afghanistan documents that they've already leaked. Go ahead, Mike.
Listen, KT said it best. This is an issue of trust. It's an issue of global order. And unless the President of the United States and the government of the United States moves aggressively to assure others that we are going to prosecute and we're going to nip this in the bud and we're going to be serious about this, that trust is at stake.
Well, how do we shut them down? I mean, you're saying we've got to go to Iceland. I thought it was Australia. But anyway.
He's Australian.
Okay, he's Australian.
But he's hosted in Iceland.
So how do we go to them and say, shut it down?
I don't quite understand the technical parts to it.
But we can?
We can do that. We can do it ourselves. We could go to that country and say, stop hosting it.
We can just be threatening, or we can legally force them to shut it down?
Well, I don't want to wait for any legal process. I would go to them and say, Iceland, you know, how's your economy doing? You know, you've just had a lot of problems with a lot of debt in your banks. We can help you with that, or we cannot help you with that. You do not want to have the United States as an enemy. Shut this thing down.
Can they go after Assange, WikiLeaks, you know, Manning, and so on, if it's not top secret information? Because they say it's more secret, it's more lower level, and that the Times and others have redacted the pieces that would compromise the safety of our intelligence analysts.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's secret, top secret, no foreign. A lot of these documents had no foreign on the top, no foreign distribution. Yeah, you could certainly go after. These are classified documents, and they were leaked. They were leaked with a certain intention. Now, this is so much different than, say, the Pentagon Papers when I was in the White House, and the Pentagon Papers were leaked. This was some people at the time who were against the Vietnam War, thought that they could stop the Vietnam War if they leaked these documents. This is not a bunch of people who are anti-war. This is a bunch of people who want to bring down the system, and you've got to stop it, and as Mike said, nip it in the bud now.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what they do. I mean, she says it's not going to happen again, that they're going to have a strong response, and we'll see what that entails. Thank you so much.